On February 22nd, I was actually at work. I was in the hallway just about to go out and have some lunch with one of my colleagues. And, we were used to getting the smaller shakes throughout the days, as everyone living in Canterbury was used to. And we felt the ground begin to shake and the building going back and forth and things cracking and falling from the ceilings. And we were sort of grabbed on in the hallway, looking at each other with this mixture of curiosity and fear. And then the shaking stopped and we both said, wow, that was a really big one. As I was moving through the eastern part of the city, seeing more and more sand and liquefaction, I knew that things were going to be really bad when we got there, and they were very, very bad when we got there. There was flooding sort of up to our knees, cars stuck in the mud trying to get out of it. There was tremendous amount of ground damage and liquefaction, and we sort of felt like we were back to September 4th, only way, way worse. The most obvious thing we've learned, and everyone's learned this, is that there are a whole series of active faults that run from basically in the Hororata area towards the foothills of the Southern Alps, right through Christchurch City and out to the ocean. And these were faults that we did not know existed. There were small earthquakes scattered around this area, including right beneath the city prior to this earthquake sequence. So there was always the knowledge that there were small faults, but these faults that have ruptured, several kilometers long, rupturing, meters to several meters at a time, were not known about prior to this earthquake, prior to them being revealed in September 4th. So I think it's certainly taught us about where these active faults are. It was always known that there was a possibility of hidden faults beneath Canterbury, and this is illuminated, that's a reality. As a scientist, while you are curious and very interested in what's going on around you scientifically, it's very difficult to decouple that from just being a Christchurch resident. And so, like everyone else, every time the ground starts shaking, I get that feeling in my stomach, and it's not like I know how big that earthquake is going to be in the first second. I'm just like anyone else. The personal circumstances that helped, that affected us in terms of the liquefaction of our property provided an amazing learning experience. I took third-year students to go map liquefaction in my suburb. I've written research papers on the kind of phenomenon that we experienced. I've given 40-something public lectures around the world on the sort of things that were going on. So it provided a really amazing opportunity to do some good science and learn a lot. I think a lot of the high-end research that we're doing in this space is aimed at better understanding fault process, so it can illuminate how we should revise building codes, how we should think about faults as hazards and all that sort of stuff. Is earthquake prediction possible? I would never say it's not going to be possible. But what we know so far is that all of the precursors, things like microseismicity, small shakes before big earthquakes, things like earthquake lights, things like increases in strain as the rocks get ready to break, all these sort of things have not really proven absolutely reliable. So they don't occur before every major earthquake. Sometimes they occur, sometimes they don't. And sometimes they occur in the absence of a major earthquake. And so we just obviously don't understand those processes well enough. Is it possible going forward? I'll never say it's impossible, but it's going to be a massive challenge to be able to predict earthquakes in any sort of useful way for the public, as in, for the next 48 hours, it's advised that you leave this area and go somewhere else because there's a virtual certainty of an earthquake. We're definitely not at that stage yet.